Good morning, friends. We are moving into a Facebook Live session on some important developments in Tamil Nadu. I will try to be brief, but this is particularly following a Facebook Live in Tamil that just finished for 1 hour, started at 12 o'clock. But this is more for people outside Tamil Nadu to know that the situation in Tamil Nadu is not what you all think it to be. And there is a very strong culture of impunity that continues in the state. I would like to highlight 3 or 4, 5 major incidents, but would like to start first with what is known as the sterilite killings of 22nd May 2018 that took place in Tamil Nadu. And the sterilite killings and the violence that broke out there had resulted in the death of 16 persons and several hundred people who had been injured. This was followed by the appointment of Justice Aruna Jagdishan Commission of Inquiry in May 2018. And this Commission of Inquiry on the 18th of May 2022 had submitted its final report to the present government. And the report has been very interestingly totally accepted by the Tamil Nadu government. The Legislative Assembly was presented a copy of the same, and it was conveyed in the Assembly that the government accepts in toto the recommendations made. But the sad part of it is that in spite of the recommendations having been accepted on the floor of the Tamil Nadu Assembly and conveyed to the Legislative Assembly members, till today, the implementation of those recommendations is far from being reversed. Focus my attention on that. But before I move into those recommendations, I would like to recall that it was the National Human Rights Commission which was the first to close the complaint, which has never happened in history. It's a shameful act of the National Human Rights Commission that in the month of October 2018, despite the fact that 16 people had been killed and several hundred injured, and very damaging recommendations being made now by Justice Aruna Jagdishan Commission, the National Human Rights Commission did not continue with its suo motu complaint, but ensured that the same was closed only on the assurance of the then AIADMK government, stating that the Aruna Jagdishan Commission of Inquiry was appointed, that the CBI was inquiring into the matter, that compensations had been paid, and that normalcy had been restored. Very sad in history to note that national human rights institutions, which are supposed to expose their independence in their functioning, had behaved in such a rash and negligent manner, closing down a complaint that had been taken up by them suo motu and upon directions of the Delhi High Court to immediately send a team there. Now, the CBI was ordered by the Madurai bench of the Madras High Court on the 14th of August 2018. A bench headed by Justice, now retired C.T. Selvam, categorically directed the CBI to investigate into 2 complaints. One being the complaint against the public who are alleged to have engaged in violence, and 2 against revenue and other police officers who are responsible for any acts of negligence on their part. So there were 2 RCs, as the CBI calls it, one of numbered 6 of 2018 and the other 8 of 2018. In 6 of 2018 against the public, 101 accused have been charge sheeted. They are appearing before the CBI court in Madurai, and the matter is under trial. Whereas in the RC, the FIR against the officials, initiated upon a complaint from the district secretary of the CPM party in Tuticorin, after 4 years of investigation, the CBI, with its extensive investigation skills, has been able to find and charge sheet only one inspector, Mr. Lawrence, and filed a charge sheet in the court, which is also lying before the CBI court here. So this is the result of the National Human Rights Commission's work, the work by the CBI, and now we go into the recommendation by Justice Aruna Jagadish. I would be failing if I do not, at this stage, publicly acknowledge, with all humility at my command, the manner in which Justice Aruna Jagadish Commission of Inquiry has not only gone about, but also culminated with their very powerful findings at the end of their work. I always owe a public apology to Justice Aruna Jagadish, because I had put a lot of pressure. I had put extraordinary pressure through the public media, pressurizing the commission to come with its findings and recommendations as early as possible. And I must publicly acknowledge that I'm grateful to her team of district judges who served her in different capacities, her lawyers who assisted her, and the witnesses who deposed before the commission. I myself was in the witness box for a whole day for these recommendations that have emerged. Thank you, Justice Aruna Jagadish, for this wonderful report. And today, it is our duty to take up this cause, because it is now going to be 1 year, but 1 year of utter silence from the DMK government. A DMK government which canvassed in the 2019 parliamentary elections and in the 1921 assembly elections. And in both these elections, not only won, but also categorically assured the public of Tuticorin and Tamil Nadu that justice will be done and those who are responsible will be punished. I want to know whom they have been able to punish till today. Now, Justice Aruna Jagadish concludes a few things which I would like to read out from her report so that it becomes much more authentic. Firstly, she says, ineffective and ill-represented peace committee meeting held on 20th of May 2018. All the stakeholders were not invited and involved in the peace talks. Absence of follow-up action. So the very basis of the peace talks for the failure is what she says. Thereafter, she says, the failure to effect preventive arrest, well ahead of the 21st of May 2018, or at least even on 22nd, the date of that incident, so long as there was no breach of peace, there was no issue. He goes on and says, this is clearly a lapse on the part of the police, compounded by a lethargy and indifference on the part of the district administration. He goes on later to say there was either no proper promulgation of the prohibitory order under section 144 CRPC, or the infirmities were so grave as to render it nugatory. There is a spectacle of authorities promulgating the order under section 144 CRPC in respect of 2 police limits, and at the same time permitting a demonstration against Sterlite factory in SAV school grounds, which is an integral part of Tuticorin town. There, later she says, there was a total lack of coordination between the district administration and the police. Having said all this and coming to various conclusions, she says later, she holds categorically later, the shooting was unprovoked, in as much as the harm that was sought to be averted was not more than the harm that would have been inflicted by not resorting to shooting. There might have been some circumstances even justifying the use of firearm, but by avoiding such an use will be a greater harm. The occasion is the decisive question. The answer is, of the 2 evils, the lesser evil is to be preferred. And in the instant case, the lesser evil is avoiding the use of firearms. Now, this is categorical on her part. And she says the cumulative effect of the various aspects would only impel this commission to come to the conclusion that it is not an instance of the police using appropriate force, but has certainly exceeded the limit. There are procedurally commissions and omissions as dealt with in the appropriate places of this report attending to the issue. And therefore, she categorically comes to, at one stage, listing and saying the conclusion then becomes irresistible, that there had been excess on the part of the police. The totality of the facts and circumstances would not suggest that the police had been acting in exercise of the right of private defense. As a matter of fact, it is not even the version of the police. And then she lists out the police officials in the hierarchy who are jointly and severally accountable. She names the IG, the DIG, the SP TUT Firing, the DYSP, 3 inspectors, 2 sub-inspectors, 1 grade 2 constable, several grade 2 constables, grade 1 constable and a head constable. And totally, I think it is about 17 of them who have been, and suggests that action be taken against the aforesaid police officials for their acts of commission and omission departmentally without prejudice to launching criminal action. Friends, this is a very powerful recommendation that has been made. And she goes on to say, this commission would suggest initiation of departmental action and other actions known to law as against the 3 special executive magistrates and deputy tahsildars. And lastly, she says, though the terms of reference confines itself to police officials, the commissions and omissions on the part of the district collector assumes importance. And as a matter of fact, enough ink has been spilt on the manner in which the district collector had conducted himself, and this commission would not like to be repetitive and would only suggest that the requisite departmental action be taken against the district collector through Venkatesh IAS also, having regard to the observations of this commission about his style of functioning, reminiscent of abdication of his responsibility. Now, what is beautiful in this report is the annexures where she shows the name of the police personnel who had handled the weapon and the kind of weapon. She states under whose orders the fire was opened, and she also indicates the victim who suffered the fatal injuries. All evidence has been collated very meticulously by Justice Aruna Jagdishan in her report. Now, where is the action? Where is the action that was promised in the 2019 or in 2018 when the DMK was in opposition? Where is the action that was announced during the election manifesto to the parliamentary elections? Where is the action that was announced in the run-up to the Legislative Assembly elections in May 2021? Nothing. These officers all continue in office and 1 or 2 of them have retired. I am told the collector has repatriated to Andhra Pradesh or Telangana. This is impunity at its worst form. You are a commission of inquiry. This is the worst way of you in all your meetings with the Chief Justice sitting, the Law Minister sitting, the Acting Chief Justice of Tamil Nadu sitting. You talk so much about judges and the respect this country gives to judges. Here is a retired judge who was commissioned to do a job, who has done a tremendous job with a team, and nobody pays attention to it. This is how impunity grows. This is how people mistrust the law, mistrust the Constitution, and take up to violence. The model will be yours. The responsibility will be yours, nobody else. There is therefore a moral responsibility on the part of the DMK to ensure that prosecutions and disciplinary actions are launched. No delay, urgently. How do you do it? The CBI was entrusted with this case through an order of the Madurai bench of the Madras High Court on the 14th of August 2018. And therefore, our demand is that the Tamil Nadu government, with all its legal advice from its Advocate General, Additional Advocate Generals, all the senior advocates that you have at your possession to appear, you mandate them to file a petition before the Madurai bench of the Madras High Court. In this order that was passed by Justice C.T. Selvam, filed a CRMP and asked for further investigation in the case on the basis of the voluminous reports, pages of report that Justice Aruna Jagadishan Commission has now come up with. She has not only come out with a report, she has come out with statements, she has come out with meticulous details of where the criminality lies, whose negligence has been responsible, and therefore asked for the High Court to direct a further investigation in this case. Not by the CBI. I'm sure the DMK government cannot accept the CBI to be entrusted. And therefore, it is only the High Court which can say, yes, further investigation is required. This is a very special matter where the state themselves are coming forward. But since the CBI found only one police officer responsible, Mr. Lawrence, for the entire violence here, whereas 17 police officers and other revenue officials have been identified by name by Justice Aruna Jagadishan here, please come forward with a special investigation team of competent police officers. Do you want me to believe there are no such competent senior police officers in Tamil Nadu who are honest, who are effective, who will not mind to do their tasks fairly? There are plenty of them. But the problem is they are not close to those in power. Place trust on them. Wherever they are, in whichever part of this state they are, or repatriated to the central government for some actions, call them, and if you trust them, entrust them with a special investigation team. Let the investigation, further investigation by this special investigation team, then be placed before the court through a final report, and let that be time-bound and monitored by the High Court, so that before the next anniversary, we will see several people criminally prosecuted for their criminal actions, which had led to these killings and these injuries. This is our prayer. I want to assure the people, I want to assure the Chief Minister that the jury members of the People's Inquest, where Justice Kolse Patel and Justice Hari Parandaman led, where Mr. M.G. Devasagayam, IAS, and Mr. Kristas Gandhi, IAS, participated, where a number of IPS officers and journalists, reputed lawyers, and movement leaders participated. They have all now addressed a letter to the Honorable Chief Minister with this demand. Please do this before the 22nd of May, 2023. Justice Aruna Jagadishan herself, I'm sure, is extremely anxious that so much of work had been put and nothing has come out of hard work. I want to assure her that if nothing happens this year, by an announcement that comes from the Honorable Chief Minister before 22nd of May 2023, then it will be a people's movement for breaking the impunity in Sterlite that will be launched, and that will be on the basis of the Justice Aruna Jagadishan report, which has been remaining in a very difficult situation for the past 1 year. So these are the demands that we let not these IPS officers and IAS officers think that the report will not carry weight. And I want to remind the SP and the District Collector of Thoothukudi, how is it that a company which has been sealed by the government is being permitted to act under the guise of corporate social responsibility in your district? Do you not belong to the Tamil Nadu cadres? How do you permit this? Can the SP and the district magistrate publicly answer? Why is it that people believe that though the front gates of Sterlite are sealed, there are openings through which people enter, vehicles enter, and Vedanta is continuing its maintenance activities? The appeal before the Supreme Court filed by Vedanta is coming up for hearing on the 22nd and 23rd of August 2023. And we hope that at least henceforth, you will not allow Vedanta to continue its corporate social responsibility activities. Please, whenever you grant permission to other organizations, be it the DEY, FI, or the SFI, or whatever bodies, Don't make it a condition in Tuticorin to say, we will not allow, please do not speak about Sterlite. Sterlite can instigate thousands of people to speak for Sterlite, but the citizens of Tuticorin cannot conduct a public meeting where they make a reference to Sterlite because the order of the SP or the order granting permission for the meeting says so. Is this, can we test it in a constitutional court? What are you doing? What officers are you? You don't have the guts. You people don't have the guts to initiate action against those who have been culpable. Your Hariharans are all moving. All your fellows who are named there are all moving. And still you have the wherewithal to be able to stop us from continuing our protest movements there. That is our moral right. That is our birthright. And we will continue to do so. We will continue to do so. And you will see more events of this sort. Mind you, we want the Honorable Chief Minister to come out with an announcement before the 22nd of May 2023, assuring us of action. I will now go to the second issue on which I wanted to speak, which was the Ambasamutram issue. But before that, because we are talking about impunity, let me first inform all our viewers and the government and all the intelligence agencies which are hearing this, that the arrest of Advocate Maharajan in Tenkasi district is not in good taste. You may have 102 reasons on paper to say that it was done for maintaining communal harmony and peace. But the fact is that people believe that it is because he broke the silence of this entire Balveer Singh torture by breaking teeth with stones and using pliers in Ambasamutram, VK Puram and Kalidakurchi police stations, that he has now been arrested in almost something called a preventive arrest, I think, and not to have the guts to keep him in Palankote jail, but to put him in Trichy jail. I want to publicly stand with Maharajan at this moment. Whatever his allegiance to an organization is, in this Ambasamutram case, he demonstrated on the field that he stood with the victims of torture who did not belong to the caste that he's claimed to be representing. He stood with people from different castes, from all castes. And therefore, my salutations to him and my request to the government of Tamil Nadu and to the Honorable Chief Minister, please, as a sign of goodwill, please ensure that he is immediately released from the confines of Trichy jail. Do not do this to somebody just because they took action against the government and spoke against the government or the police officers in the case of Balveer Singh. Now, coming to the case of Balveer Singh, I think everybody knows what the case is, and I'm not getting into it, but I'm only wanting to highlight that Tamil Nadu has refused to learn from the Satankulam lesson. The magistrate who remanded did not see the injuries. I lose 4 teeth. You can imagine how much my lips would have been swollen when I was produced before remand. If my name was asked, I may not have been able to speak because it was so painful. But just because we kept quiet, because we were told to keep quiet or our wives would be attacked, that we were all remanded without the remand report anywhere, remand order anywhere mentioning the injuries we had suffered. That was the type of judicial magistrate remand that they underwent. The police, pre-arrest, pre-remand, not pre-arrest, but pre-remand medical fitness done in Ambasamutram GH, again is a sham. And one doctor, Ilayaraja, there thinks he's everything. He refuses to give a copy. Under RTI, he says, wait for 30 days. If he doesn't know the law, let him show his ignorance. Then when the National Commission for Scheduled Caste, Scheduled Tribes summons the health secretary, then comes immediately the order to the house requesting us to come and collect the copy of the medical certificate. Why? We have sent it back to him and said, please learn to send us information in legible manner. Otherwise, we will take action against you. Mr. Ilayaraja, the doctor in Satangulam escaped, but we will see that you don't escape. We will see that somewhere your limits are also measured in this case. Ambasamutram is a very sad case where it has taken over 50 days for an FIR to be registered. 2 PSO inquiries, the reports are not out. A high-level committee appointed by the government, even the GO making the appointment of Amuda is kept as a secret document. Like the 144 order was not promulgated in Tuticorin. 5 years later, you do the same thing. You keep that. I want Amuda IAS's report to be made public. Many things will be revealed. And if all those things are revealed, there is no other alternative but for the government to ensure that the CBCID arrests Balveer Singh IPS for his acts of torture along with his other police colleagues. Why were three inspectors shunted out from Ambasamutram, VK Puram and the other police stations? It is only because they were throwing their weight, using their powers to tamper witnesses. And those who were tampered, those who were threatened, appeared before Amuda IAS and tendered evidence. So there are every reason to believe that Balveer Singh continues to threaten people through his minions there. And it had managed from the 10th of March to the 25th of March that any sane person will say that the investigation will be qualitative and in the right direction only if custodial interrogation of Balveer Singh is undertaken. I wish I am wrong. I really wish I am wrong. And I appeal to the IPS Officers Association, who went public on this issue, which has never happened in Tamil Nadu. Never happened in Tamil Nadu. We have never been in such low levels of IPS officers functioning in Tamil Nadu. Its president, Mr. Abhash Kumar IPS, DGP Fire Service, has issued a public letter on the 4th of April saying there is a media trial going on. We don't want any media trial. Mr. Abhash Kumar, the pressure we put as civil liberties organizations and media that we resulted in FIR being registered on the 17th of April 2023. And thereafter, the investigation has been handed over to the CBCID. And now we have 4 FIRs against your IPS officer. Do you have anything to say in public? Please say it. Can you deny that Balveer Singh was not violent at home? Can you deny that Balveer Singh was not under medication? Can you deny that Balveer Singh's wife did not attempt to commit suicide? That is why I said I hope what all I'm saying is untrue. I don't want this to happen to anybody. We are all humanitarian. We are not only human rights activists, we are also humanitarian. And if violence takes place in the family of Balveer Singh, to members of his family, I am affected. I feel ashamed. But more than me, the IPS Officers Association should feel ashamed. If it is true, then this person needs to be put under custody. Government wants in any manner to be gracious to him. Please be gracious to him. I have no problems. But dismiss him from service. So we cannot have people who have suffered mental illness to continue to be entrusted with law and order functions. That is not possible. That should not be allowed at any cost. This is a government which believes in police welfare, wellness programs being conducted. Not for 10, not for 100, not for 1,000, not for 10,000, but over 1 lakh policemen, including IPS officers. In that case, Balveer Singh needs to be interrogated. Custodial interrogation needs to be undertaken. He needs to undergo medical examination, psychiatric examination, and let the president of the IPS Officers Association of Tamil Nadu chapter hold on to his heart. Hold on to his heart and conscience and come out in public and acknowledge if Balveer Singh had been violent at home or anywhere else earlier, which had led to violence in the family. These are serious matters. You don't have the guts to go into things of that sort. You did not have the guts to speak for your own IPS woman officer who was sexually harassed by a male patriarchal officer who's undergoing trial today. At that time, why was the IPS Officers Association silent? Is this an IPS Male Officers Association? Or is it an IPS Officers Association? Was the DGP consulted before the statement was issued? Was the additional DGP intelligence consulted? Was the ADGP law and order consulted? Was the IG South consulted? Does it mean that today we have two classes in policing in Tamil Nadu? One of IPS officers and one of non-IPS officers? Is that the reason Saravanan, who was a SP, non-IPS SP of Tirunelveli, kept quiet? I'm sorry. These are answers that Abhash Kumar has to answer. This never occurred in Tamil Nadu. When the police wanted an association, the so-called lower hierarchy in the police wanted an association, they had to fight, they had to struggle, they were punished. They were never given the right. But you have an IPS Officers Association which intervenes like this in matters of criminality, in matters of torture. India has yet to ratify the Convention Against Torture after so many years of promising. The last assurance came in the 4th UPR, where 31 countries across the world asked for it. We don't have a law that prevents torture in India. We don't have a ratification of the UN Convention Against Torture. And you have the guts to say a media trial is going on. I'm ashamed. I'm more shocked to see that the Chief Minister has not pulled up the Tamil Nadu chapter president and asked him which executive committee passed this resolution. Would he be willing to share this with the Chief Minister? Would he be willing to share it with the Chief Secretary? Would he be willing to share it with the Home Secretary? I think disciplinary action needs to be initiated by the government in this matter. Balveer Singh needs custodial interrogation. Government wants to show him any form of kindness. You show it by sending him first for medical examination, psychiatric examination. Record all the events, put him behind bars, and then you will see Revatis will emerge. Just as Revati emerged in Satangulam, you will find Revatis will emerge in Ambasamutram. Revatis will emerge in Kallidaikurchi. Revatis will emerge in VK Puram police station to speak the truth. We believe the lower police officials, if they are violent, if they take recourse to torture, it is because higher police officials permitted to do so. But this is a different case where the higher police official himself took stones and broke the teeth of people, took pliers and pulled out their teeth. There is something seriously wrong. He needs to be put into custody. Without having the guts to do so, don't go on sending summons to us. We have appeared in the PSO inquiry. We have appeared in the Amuda IAS Commission, high-level committee. We have now been summoned by the CBCID to come, and they are upset that we did not come. We tell that respectful officer, it is not disrespect to you. We know you are only a DSP. You are not an IPS officer. And we want to ensure that your hands are strengthened, that the CBCID investigation in Ambasamutram is headed by an IPS officer of a higher rank of IG or DIG who will look after the investigation and make periodic public reports of where the progress goes. The public is watching. We will not allow this to go outside the public field. I want, therefore, to also condemn the action on arrest of Maharajan and detaining him as far as in Trichy, and as a sense of goodwill, I request the Honorable Chief Minister to ensure that he is released without any conditions. And yesterday, Advocate Abbas was arrested from here by the NIA, I'm told. Whether it is the NIA or the CBI or the CBCID, all of them have a duty to ensure that the law is respected. And when you arrest a person, arrest has to be with dignity. You don't address people, especially if they are lawyers, in the singular. And I've seen Facebook Live of one DSP Sendil Nathan and somebody else called Gopi addressing the arrestee in singular. You can have 102 reasons to arrest, but follow DK Basu, Supreme Court guidelines. Follow Article 41A, 41B, 41D. You kept this gentleman in the confines of the Armed Reserve Police in Madurai till he was shifted by the NIA. Did you give him access to lawyers who wanted to see him? These are totally illegal acts that took place in my city of Madurai by the NIA or by the local police at the behest of the NIA. This is not done. Lawyers have a right to appear for people in all forms of cases. That's our duty. And that is how we uphold the Constitution. The Constitution is upheld not only through Supreme Court judgments, it is also upheld by our actions. Tamil Nadu government has to understand that it is time that every police station in Tamil Nadu follows the dictate of the Supreme Court and has CCTV cameras. There are people here in Tamil Nadu, IPS officers who are responsible for districts who lie publicly about CCTV cameras. Please stop lying. Accept the truth. The Karur SP, presently there, one Mr. Sundara Vadanam is an example. Please don't. I mean, you're an IPS officer, or you are at least a superintendent of police. Don't act like somebody who does not know the law. Don't hide facts. Don't hunt after human rights defenders. We will be at your doorstep. We will not hesitate for any type of action. If you touch that Shanmugam of Karur once again, you should be happy you have such people who still believe in the Constitution and peaceful means in terms of attaining rights. Shanmugams in Karur are gems. A gem of a human rights defender whom you are trying to gun. If you gun him, then we will also gun you. And when I say gun, target is what I mean. Don't try to think that we believe in guns. You are the people who believe in guns. We don't believe in guns. We believe in winning hearts. But you refuse to respect the Supreme Court's order of CCTV cameras in all your police stations. We are under a study. We've already approached the Supreme Court. At the next hearing, we will come up with more facts. But our right is to have a CCTV camera in the police station. And our right is to have a copy of the police station footage whenever we ask for it. Don't come and say, I want an RTI for it. And don't come and lie in courts and through your RTA responses on matters relating to the CCTV cameras. That is how our dignity in police stations are upheld. All police stations need posters. And I'm repeating what the Supreme Court has said. We need posters stating that the police station is under CCTV surveillance, and if people want a copy of a human rights violation, then they just have to ask for it and it shall be given. The law does not say, the judgment does not say, you apply for it through RTA. If there are SPs who need sessions on this, come to us. We will give you free legal advice, free legal education on these judgments of the Supreme Court. These are matters that the DGP should be paying attention to urgently. And lastly, I want to speak about the NHRC, a very noble institution in this country, an institution that believes in saying falsity on its website. You go to the website of the NHRC right now, and on the scroll you will find that it says NHRC has been accredited with the A-grade status by Gandhi. This is false. I have a report with me dated February and March 2023, when the Indian NHRC was taken up for accreditation. We from civil society, including the Constitutional Conduct Group, comprising very senior, very respectful, very reputable IAS, IPS, IFS officers who have held positions as ambassadors and chief secretaries in different parts of this country and globe, also signed the alternative report for the accreditation process. And the accreditation committee has recommended that the Indian NHRC will not be accredited this year. Its accreditation petition will be postponed by 1 year. The technical term was deferred by 1 year. That is what your scroll should be running. Your scroll now shows as if you have been granted A-grade status. I'm sorry, this is misrepresentation by the highest human rights body headed by Justice Arun Mishra. in this country. I am ashamed to say this because I have greatest respect for people like Justice Venkatachalaya, with whom I worked, who's still there in Bangalore, with Justice J.S. Verma, whom I regarded as my father. Such a straightforward man. Unfortunately, we don't have him alive today. And all the others who have served, nobody has lied on their website about their status, which has happened in the tenure of Justice Arun Mishra. This is serious lapse, Justice Arun Mishra, on your part. There are other lapses that other people are capable of speaking, but they're not capable of speaking what I'm speaking to today. And the reasons for non-accreditation have been highlighted. And the reasons are, A, the involvement of police officers in investigations. They're telling the NHRC, don't give complaints of human rights violation to your own police officers for investigation. An investigation team for a criminal investigation and an investigation team for a human rights investigation are two different things. That cannot be done only by police when it needs different types of capacities and capabilities. That's number one. Two, they're talking about the composition and need for pluralism in the profession. Third, they talk about the selection and appointment process. Now there are 3 vacancies, and the country doesn't know there are 3 vacancies. The country doesn't know that there are no women in the commission at the moment. The country doesn't know this. So on that ground, the fourth ground is interesting. It says the appointment of the Secretary General. Please don't think that an IAS officer alone can be a Secretary General. I mean, I have great respect for some of those IAS officers who have been in those positions. Some of them have been excellent officers. So without any bad reference to them, I want to say the Secretary General cannot be an appointee of the Government of India into the NHRC. It has to be a process by which somebody who can manage people has to attain that position. That has been pointed out. And they're asking you to cooperate with human rights bodies, which you have stopped cooperating. You cooperate only with your chamchas. With those who criticize you, you go hammer and tongue against them. And the last is appealing to the NHRC to address human rights issues. Why is the NHRC not speaking on issues? What can you expect from the NHRC when it can ensure that the Sterlite case that it took suo moto was closed by the NHRC in an incident where 16 people were killed? That kind of an NHRC needs to change, is what they are saying. I'm appealing to the NHRC to take this as a wake-up call and work with civil society. We do not want to look at a downgraded NHRC. We need an upgraded NHRC because our NHRC should be seen as a leader of not the global community of NHRCs, but of the community of 170 national and state human rights institutions in India. And if that is the truth, then you have to be up to that quality. And that you can do not by keeping us miles apart. Put the action plan on human rights defenders of the Asia Pacific Forum, of which you are a member, into practice, and ensure that you work with human rights defenders, civil society organizations to make the NHRC a strong, vibrant, transparent, effective institution in this country, which will then be a better model for over 170 such institutions in the country. I appealed once again to the Honorable Chief Minister of Tamil Nadu. Do not think that this is a criticism. This is an open appeal to you. We are no one to criticize an elected government, but we are someone to strengthen an elected government by pointing out in a manner which is effective mistakes of the past. We hope these mistakes will be rectified in quality with the urgency they demand. And before the 22nd of May, 2023, that effective steps on the directions that have been pointed out by the jury members to you in an email today will be what you will follow. And we will assure you that we will stand with you. We don't believe in standing on the other front and demanding these things. We believe that you are capable of doing this. And we remind you, let not anybody in your family not forget what you had assured us, voters in Tamil Nadu, the day before the elections in May 2021, when you had publicly assured us all that you will not allow any member of the family to interfere in the administration of your government. We hope you are still attempting to do that. We believe you can do it, and we hope you will do it. We place trust in you, we appeal to you, and we hope the police will take these criticisms in the right spirit. We hope the judiciary will also understand the calling words of the Chief Justice when he said, there is no subordinate judiciary in this country. We have district judiciary, we have a high court, and we have a Supreme Court. That district judiciary should also live up to the expectations of the constitutional mandates and not allow any more incidents like Ambasamudram to continue, where you have people with injuries remanded before you without the injuries being recorded. That is a blot on our judiciary. And the blot on the judiciary is a blot on me as a lawyer. I shall close and do hope that all this will be followed up. Thank you.